There is a lot of anime out there this season, in particularly. Last season, there was only one anime that really caught my attention, two, to be more specific. Solo Leveling, obviously, because it's a manhwa that is a really great manhwa that has been turned into an anime, and Ninja Kamui. But other than those two, the other anime were good, weren't super amazing, but they were decent enough. But this season, there's so many good shit there's so many stuff to watch. And a big example of that is Kaijuu No.8. Yes, Kaijuu No.8. Oh my god. So I had checked out the first two episodes of this anime, and oh my god, I am blown away. The reason why, to give a little bit of a backstory first, I had read a little bit of Kaijuu No.8 when it was really popular in the manga community. This is one of those mangas that was like blowing up. It was Kaijuu No.8, it was Chainsaw Man. Those were the two that were like extremely huge, right? And so Chainsaw Man got its anime. I had read all of Chainsaw Man before I watched its anime, but I thought I would do the same thing with Kaijuu No.8, but then I heard the anime is coming out, so I just watch that. Maybe it will be more interesting than, reading the manga. And I did read a little bit past the first two episodes. A little bit, actually. I might be episode 4-ish, where I've read until. After that, then, well, we're at the point where the rest of the show is complete. I'm going into it blind, essentially. But these first two episodes were really great. The one thing it does, it sets the tone of the show. At first, you're like, oh, this is serious. The main character's a little bit of a goofball, but there's also that little bit of seriousness that he's trying to really run away from. And then another younger character telling him, why are you running away from him? Don't give up on your dreams, and, the usual shonen stuff. But where the episode gets more interesting isn't just the shonen stuff, right? Where the character, he grows and decides, finally, I'm not going to give up. I am going to join this air defense force, or Japanese defense force. And when he's deciding this, he's running for his life he's running away from that. This is our main character, by the way, Kafka Hibino. He's a very interesting main character. He doesn't fall under the exact same tropes as all the other shonen main characters, but he's also falling under these tropes of these new shonen main characters, like Yuji, like Tanjiro, and a few others, right? They have a difference in their show. Well, Tanjiro is more shonen-esque than Yuji, but he has those types of tropes. Not the usual shonen tropes, but a slightly different one. He is older, much older than all the other shonen characters, at least to my knowledge, in terms of shonen stories. Amongst the newer ones, for that matter. But then, that's what sort of makes him... It's the same as those. He has those tropes, but he doesn't have those older one tropes. It has the nice little balance, because the younger guy does have those old shonen tropes. Point being that it's not entirely a shonen. They go full on blood with this anime, bro. Maybe there is only with the kaijus, but it's an anime also about kaijus that's not Godzilla. There's very few of that, at least to my knowledge. I don't know that many animes about kaiju. Point is, it's really great that they're doing this with his character. But the more interesting bit, this episode sort of sets up his character and sets up the younger guy's character, Hibino and Ichikawa. Their characters are set up in this first episode. That's why it's great. It's when we get to the end, in what I was showing you earlier. This is what really sets this anime. This right here is really what sets this anime in its own league. Because okay, so he essentially is now a kaiju like the rest of them. What do you do with this? He's trying to join the people that are fighting. It's a trope. Yes, it is a trope, but these are usually that great. The reason why they are tropes because they work really well. You have the ability of the people, of the beings that you're trying to get rid of, and you want to join others in doing so, but they will shoot you on sight the moment they know you are that other being. It reminds me of a lot of other animes that I've seen where this kind of trope does happen. It is a trope, but it's a really good one. The question is, how is he going to do it? Is he going to do something differently? Is it going to be the same like the others, having to keep his actual power secret, but is generally usually weak without this power? What is this in general? What does this mean? Is there others just like him? All of these questions I'm asking by the end of this episode, because I really do like the character. So what is he going to do? Where do you go with this? And the second episode doesn't really answer these questions. It continues to show what this essentially means. He's as powerful as an actual kaiju. He's as powerful as an actual kaiju. He has the small stature and he's as powerful as a kaiju. How powerful is he? Is he really powerful? Are the other kaijus like him? All of these questions. I have a lot of questions for this anime, which is great, because now they can answer that slowly while building on these characters. This is why it's a great start for a shonen. Well, not just a shonen, a show in general. Because with a story like this, you obviously you hit the audience at the very end. Now where do you go with this? What are you gonna do in your second episode? So on and so forth. It all really just starts out great. And that's one of the biggest things that I have for this anime in particular, that I'm really excited to see where it goes. That's why I read the manga. This also intrigued me. Like, what does this mean? What is this Kaijuu number 8? Is him turning into a kaiju? How did he turn into a kaiju? Why did he turn into a kaiju? Why was he specifically a kaiju? And are there others like him? Are they as dangerous as him? Are they that powerful? Do they use the same thing as hollows do in Bleach? You know what I'm talking about? In Bleach, the smaller stature of a hollow that looks closer to a human is more powerful than the hollow that looks like a giant creature. You know what I mean? A kaiju, essentially. They're more powerful when they're smaller and weaker when they're big. That's sort of how they explained it in Bleach. So does they have the same kind of logic here? I'm going off of that for now because of how powerful he is. He is extremely powerful. So much so he can kill a kaiju with one punch. To a certain extent, there's a lot of moments where I was like, that sounds like a different anime. There's the beginning where it sounded like it was Pacific Rim for a second without the giant robots, and then here it sounded like it was One Punch Man with the way he punched this kaiju. There's a lot of aspects of this anime that sounds like other animes. It brings closer to this point I had in my head every time I was watching this, because I didn't read this, right? But it definitely has a feeling of something I've read, a shonen that I've read a long time ago, or shonen that I'm currently still reading. It would definitely be one of those that, if I read it, I would have been keeping up with it daily. But it's in the same vein as like Undead Unluck, Dan Da Dan, or the other manga that I really hope gets an anime, Gacha Guta, where there's the same feeling I have when I'm reading those ones. I'm intrigued, curious, wanting to know more of what is about to happen to these characters. How are they going to deal with the situation? Him particularly. And the way they set up his character is very close to a shonen, but he's someone that is coming back into that mindset. He was someone that already gave up. He grew too old, now he can't really join the defense force. That's sort of his story. And so he's the type of character that's now coming back into that mindset when he had lost it due to a youngin telling him not to really give up, you know what I mean? But that's also why I'm very interested to see where this goes. That's my main takeaway from this episode, is I really want to know where they go with this show. If they go in a really great direction, I'm all for it. I'm really here just to watch it all. If they don't, well, we know where that goes. But I'll be keeping up with this show. I will go back and give my proper reviews on the rest of Solo Leveling, because to give a short summary, they deliver in Solo Leveling. So I'm hyped for something new, right? While I wait for Solo Leveling Season 2, I need to see something really good, and I really hope this ends up being that. So yeah.